Welcome to the fourth episode of interviews with successful entrepreneurs. Today I'm sitting here with Niklas, and Niklas is the founder of Immographics. And Niklas, could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, well, my name is Niklas. I'm 41 years old. And as you said, I'm the founder of Immographics, which is an emotional intelligence concept that took me from 20 to 15 years to develop. So it has been a great part of my life. And besides that, I run a company who help people who are unemployed to come back to finding a job. Okay. So I have two companies, and Immographics is one of them.
And how old is Immographics right now?
Well, actually, the name Immographics is only about 6 months old, actually. You see, I had the idea, but I didn't have the name.
Okay.
So I think the name has changed like 10 times throughout the years. And it ended up being Immographics because, it's emotional graphics. So we think that was a really cool name.
Yeah, that's a great name. Okay, so what I will do now for you guys, I will just questioning Niklas some different things here, and just to let you know more about what he's doing. So the next question will be for you, Niklas. What made you develop an EQ system?
Well, I guess I've been working for a lot of years with having the right mindset. I've been working as a coach, doing executive coaching, doing therapy, always trying to find the most effective way to change a person from something negative to something positive. And on that journey, everybody was talking about the mindset. And I guess at one time I had to stop and start asking questions to myself, because for example, if a person is depressed, and a lot of people have tried 1 or 2 times in their life to feel depressed, heavy, and everything is, I don't want to do anything. Yeah. And when you feel like that, many books, many people will tell you it's all about the way you think. So if you think positive, you will feel positive, right? And my experience was that many of these people, they were actually thinking, the right thoughts. They were saying the right stuff, and anyhow, they were still being depressed. So I said there was something missing here. There's something about our emotions that we haven't looked on yet. So I began to investigate in the emotional intelligence, because, for example, if you feel very motivated or inspired, and you recognize that condition, that state of mind of feeling, inspired, then you're very creative. And your ideas will pop up all the time. You will be very, very positive in your way of communicating. Yeah. And if you feel heavy and down, you have to search for the ideas. You have to really make hard work on getting ideas, right?
Yeah.
So it's not in our mindset. It's also in our emotions. So I discovered that one thought, it takes an instant. How long does it take to think a thought, right? It's like this all the time. Mm. So what about an emotion? An emotion takes up to 7 seconds to feel it completely. So of course there is a conflict in I'm thinking like this, and my emotion is like this. There has to be a distance. There's something not adding up. Mm. So I discovered there is always one emotional state we can be in that are positive or negative. And every time we have a positive state of mind, or state of feeling actually, there is the opposite who can either destroy it or who can push it upwards. So it's like acupuncture actually. So if you feel one feeling and you give that feeling attention, then another feeling will grow. And also I think that people will be defined more throughout their feelings than by their thoughts. Because how many thoughts are actually your thoughts? If I had to ask you, who are you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you can get a lot of people who you want to be those. You want to have something going on as they have, and that's something that you thought about for a long period of time. But what you also mentioned that it's pretty interesting actually. And also 7 seconds.
Exactly. So every time you ask somebody to say, "Oh, how are you?"
Yeah.
And people say, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
Well, in some weird way, they're lying because they're not feeling; they're only thinking.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we have to think to do rational, wise decisions. You have to think, but the feelings, the emotions are the thing that lies behind the thoughts, and the thing that gives thoughts power. It's the thing that gives you movement. So your thoughts alone does not give you identity, and it doesn't give you a movement, a direction. But the emotions, the feelings behind are the one that makes you powerful. That's the one, the thing that people are saying, okay, oh, Rune, he's the shit. I mean, 1 hour with that guy, he's like, he makes me happy, or he makes me sad, or that's your emotions, not your thoughts. So you can be wise out here, but your feelings, your emotions has to be with you as well.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, Niklas, the next question for you will be, why is emotional intelligence relevant today?
Did you ask why it was important, or?
I mean, why is emotional intelligence relevant today?
Ah, okay. Yeah. It's relevant today because, I mean, we have the last 30 years or so, we've been occupying ourselves with a certain kind of mindset and with IQ. IQ was the shit for like 20 years. Everybody was talking about IQ. Oh, you got a high IQ. Oh, nice, we got a high U. But the thing is, a nice IQ doesn't make you a nice person to be with.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a high IQ doesn't make you a smart person on the street, and it doesn't make you a good communicator. It's the EQ. And also, a high IQ doesn't make you good in, and how to, what can I say? When you meet resistance in life, it's not your IQ that makes you good in how to respond to that, navigating that.
Yes, exactly.
It's the emotional intelligence, because it's your emotions that has to be very strong in order to survive in this world. Because one thing is for sure about this world, it's not gonna act like you want it to.
Exactly.
Never. So no matter how smart, no matter how clever you are, the world is never gonna do as you want it to be, to do. So your emotional intelligence is what actually makes you capable of dealing with a world that doesn't respond to your needs. Your needs has to be dynamic, and your needs has to be smart, and you need to have your needs on your side, working for you, not against you. So, or else you have a slight chance of being rigid, and everything has to be like this, right?
Yeah.
So it's very relevant right now, because I think that both in business and private, we are beginning to have an interest in, okay, in school we learn to do math, we learn how to do spelling contest and do, all the things we need in order to fulfill all the normal stuff in a job, right?
Yeah.
But all the social importance you don't learn.
Exactly.
And all the social, all the abilities that enables you to navigate correctly, socially wise, is what actually makes you capable of being a leader, and a good leader. Mm. So it's very relevant right now, because there's so many people who are not happy. If you ask anybody and say, oh, for how long time can you be depressed? Just come with an estimated time. I mean, 9 out of 10 would say, I don't know, a year, 2 years, forever. They don't have a time. But if you ask the very same person and said to him or her, okay, so for how long time would you be able to be happy? And I'm talking about seriously having the feeling, the emotion of being happy. Mm. They'll be like, I don't know, a week, a day, an hour? Yeah. Why is that? And I mean, so right now I think we have reached a point where we are ready for, being happy, and we want to be happy. Mm. We want to, and we know that happiness is not always something that comes out here. It doesn't come with millions. It doesn't come with the right job. It comes with my emotions. That's what makes me happy. Yeah. And that's what actually makes me successful as well. Mm.
So you can actually, as I understand, try to trick to be happy, right?
Mhm.
That's also something that I have
Oh,
written
yes.
something about, and
When you drink,
yeah,
when you eat chocolate, when you smoke, when you do drugs, it's all a trick because we want to be happy. It's all a trick. The
Yeah.
problem is if you do it falsely, if you're not doing it genuine, then you will experience it's like you have spent too much money and you have to pay the rents afterwards.
Yeah.
It's the same with happiness. So if you drink yourself, totally pissed and you're woo,
Yeah.
then like 3 days later you would be like, oh my God, you just feel that, small feeling of depression because it was falsely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only a short period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the next question for you, Nicholas, is what can businesses use this EQ for?
Well, actually, a lot of the studies tell that at one point they asked the 200 of the most successful leaders in the world. So, which leaders are the future and who would you hire? People with high IQ or people with high EQ?
Well, right now I will answer that for EQ, right? I mean,
Oh yes, and that's obviously.
Yeah.
But for 10 years ago, people would probably answer differently. They would say, well, IQ must be the most interesting thing because they are smart then. But all of them said, well, it's a very good thing if a person is smart, and of course they have to have a decent IQ. But what really matters is your ability to, be social. So if you're working at a big company and you have a high EQ, you would always be able to navigate to, feel, oh, something's wrong here. I have to, put some effort here. These guys are stressed up. These guys are not doing their sales right. And that's a gut feeling, right? And a gut feeling is actually your emotional intelligence. So, business-wise, it makes you do better decisions. If your IQ is high, you're able to navigate in chaos. It's like sitting in a boat and have to try to steer the boat, and sometimes the water would be like big waves and other times it would be nice and smooth and the wind would be, in from the back and sometimes in the front. Yeah. And all the time as a leader, you have to navigate throughout these. And with a high EQ, you're able to do these kinds of things naturally. So business-wise, it's very relevant for leaders, for guys working at a company, on the floor. It would be very relevant because if they understand their own emotions and how they work, they're able to, not being stressed, to always like you do workout, right? If you do workout, you train your biceps and your triceps and stuff. Yeah. Well, it's the same with emotions. So if you understand emotions, you can actually train the positive emotions to becoming more permanent and more strong. So it's relevant because if you look at the numbers, if you look at sales, the sales will go up if you focus on the EQ.
Yeah, of course.
And so on.
But will it be something, just another question in the same range here, will it be something that people will look more into when we are talking about job interviews and so on?
Yeah.
Because a lot of owners who owns the businesses, if they have the job interview, a CV is still important for some. Oh, yeah. And that's for a good reason. But is EQ, how do you measure that, just in short?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because it happens to be that I developed a test, which are one of a kind. You see, there have been several tests worldwide who has some kind of emotional intelligence in it. But my test actually worked with the emotional states that you are in. And an emotional state is an intelligent emotion. That is a form that are telling you, for example, if you feel inspired, that's an emotional state. And the feeling of the emotion of inspiration gives you creativity. It gives you sales. It gives you it makes other people be attracted to you naturally. So having if you go into the study of emotional intelligence, then you're able to push your own inspiration forward more permanently, for example. That means that I'm able to permanently in my company be inspired and be in that state. So I will attract more people, I will make better sales, and I will be more happy.
Okay.
Because if you work with emotions and you understand that, then like the exercise, then you exercise emotions. And the more you do it, the more permanently it is. So this is something for everyone. And my test actually tells what state you are strong in and what state you're not strong in. And it tells in what direction you're moving. Are you moving upwards in your life? You're feeling very good right now, or downwards? So that test will tell me where your strong sides are, your not so strong sides, and where we have to train, where we have to work out emotionally. So and I think that is the future. I think emotional intelligence would be tested in the most companies in the future.
Let me know when a business owner out there, maybe you are one of them, wants to see how the EQ is a possible candidate for a job. How is it then? How is it looking like? I mean, is it some sort of numbers you have put on in different categories?
Yeah.
Are there any standards?
Yeah. There is. There are 8 positive states, emotional states you can be in, and there are 8 negative.
Okay.
The positive has a value of 0 to 4, and the other from 0 to -4. I was thinking a lot about this when I was designing this test, because IQ says one number. Okay, so I have an IQ 134, for example. Okay, that's one number. But it's dangerous because that one number won't tell all the things you can do.
Because average or what?
Exactly, okay. Yeah, and it has, and I mean, emotional intelligence is not only one thing. It's your ability and how to correspond to others, to interact with others. It's how you deal with problems yourself, and how you're able to take care of yourself and love yourself, and so on and so on. So there are positive numbers out of all the positive states, and negative numbers with the negative states. Okay. So you compare these states.
Yes.
The interesting part is that I discovered that the states work actually either with each other or against each other. So, for example, if you feel motivated and have that feeling, I want to do this, I feel that, I believe everyone has tried one time in their life and feel really, really motivated, right? But you can't feel motivated and at the same time feel obligated. Obligated is the nemesis of the motivation. It's the opponent, because if you say to somebody, I want you to do this, you shall do it, then people will go, okay, I do it, but they're not motivated. Yeah. Just try it with a kid. I mean, any kid, you say, you shall do this, then they will be like, no, I don't want to do it. But if you motivate them, it's a completely different energy. But those two energies cannot stand in the same room together. You're either motivated or you're obligated. Yeah. So if you understand that mechanism, then you work with yourself in being motivated, so much as possible. Of course, there will be some obligation. And if you work as a business leader, then you would understand that you need your the people working for you to be motivated, not obligated. It's the same with inspiration and shame, taking action. Action's opponent is fear. If you feel really fearful, you're not taking action. if you feel the strong feeling of taking action, then you do not feel fear in the same way.
Yeah.
So it's a system that always tells you what you're able to and what you're not able to, because you have all these opponents, which are states, emotional states, and those emotional states fight every day, every second.
Yeah, everyone is doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned fear,
Yeah.
and vice versa. You have the other one. Right? So if you do not take any chances, you will not grow your business. So
No, exactly.
that's a good point. So the last question here is just what's your dream and vision with demographics?
Well, obviously, I mean, I want demographics to grow. I want it to grow not only in Denmark, but I want to let it grow internationally. So first step is to make it grow in Denmark, and right now it's growing fast. But also I want this to grow everywhere.
Yeah.
And I want that debate. I want that very important debate about emotional intelligence. I mean, Donald Trump, is he emotional intelligent? That's a funny question.
It is.
So I mean, I want this to grow all over the world, and also I want this to go into schools. I want little kids to being educated in, okay, this is my emotional intelligence response to whatever conflict there is. So they're not only learning in school how to do math or how to do history, but also learn how to make their emotional intelligence grow. Because the difference between IQ and EQ is a number, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a number. Oh, sorry, you had an IQ of 90.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just at the limits of being stupid, right? But EQ, you can always work to improve, so you can evolve. And the higher EQ the world has, the less fighting, the less violence, the more success people will have, and the more happy people will be in generally.
Yeah.
So it means what's not to like about it?
Well, that's a good question. So what is typically what are you typically doing? You have some courses as I understand here.
Yeah.
And then you teach people.
I teach people where they learn how to do. They learn to interpretate the test, and they learn how to work with emotional mastering. So you can do different kinds of techniques, how to emphasize the positive states and to make them stronger and more permanent, and how to do clearing with the negative ones. And I'm writing a book,
Okay.
which is done right about in a minute.
In a minute.
In a minute, we will have to stop this. I have to go out, and also I'm doing speaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing speaks with larger crowds and so on. Yeah.
Yes, different, all kinds of, mainly for. Yeah, no, it's very actually. It's very wide audience actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's business people. It's private. It's, I mean, all kinds of ages actually. So
yeah.
And I just want to go out even more to spread this out.
You know what, Niklas? What we'll do here, guys, is that we will leave some down in the description. There we will leave some links for the website and also for the social medias as well. So if you want to know more about what Niklas is doing and his team, I believe that's a great way to do it, because I believe also we can talk for a longer time than this.
Oh yes,
right?
oh, yes.
So, but for now, I would like to say thank you to Niklas, because it was a real pleasure
Thank you.
to have you
Thank
in
you
the
for
chair.
talking.
And if, as I mentioned, want to see more what he's doing and the team as well, just click down below on the links. And nothing more to say than thank you for watching, and thank you to Niklas again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.